So we're back in the studio today. I haven't done a weight loss video in a while, or a ketogenic diet video in a while. I was down in South Florida, went to West Palm Beach, went to Hollandale Beach, went to Ocala, went to Sarasota, went to Bradenton. Um, Tried to stay keto as best I could, except for my birthday. Hey, Amanda. Amanda Brooks checking in. Amanda Brooks is one of the people that I'm working with, and she is absolutely killing the ketogenic diet. She's just entering her second week. She's already lost like 8 pounds or something. So hey Amanda. So U.S. News and World Report just put out this news article. Boy, this light is really bright. God, I got too much light in here. They just put out this this news article. I wonder if I can change the focus to this. Maybe that'll help. Ah, yeah, it helps a little bit. So U.S. News and World Report just put out this list of diets, best and worst diets, and they ranked them. They ranked them overall, and then they ranked them for weight loss. And so, in the overall category, according to U.S. News and World Report, the ketogenic diet is like next to the worst diet you can do. It's quite ridiculous. It's preposterous. I'm not going to be looking at that list. I'm going to look at the list of what U.S. News and World Report considers the best diets for weight loss. Now, keep in mind, I've tried every weight loss diet on the planet. Hey, Michelle, how are you? So according to U.S., and I have the actual article right here, so I'm not making it up. So according to U.S. News and World Report, the best diet, now, according to U.S. News and World Report, the best diet, I should have adjusted this better. It's like I'm a million miles away. I bet I could move it forward some. Yeah, that might help a little bit. The best diet, according to U.S. News and World Report, is Weight Watchers. Come on, man. Weight Watchers. Now, I know there's been a lot of studies on Weight Watchers, and it used to be just a support program, right? You would just, and if you're on Weight Watchers, I'm not disrespecting you in any kind of way. It's just I have experience with Weight Watchers, and I think most people that are trying to lose weight do. Weight Watchers started out as you'd go to meetings and stuff, right? And there's a lot of research that shows that there's strength in numbers, then you have more success. But now they do this points thing. And the thing about Weight Watchers is you can eat anything on Weight Watchers now. You could live off chocolate cake. They don't care what you eat. You just add these points up, and it might work temporarily. It might work in the short term. I think the best thing to consider with weight loss is what's going to work forever. Like, what's going to work where 5 years from now I still don't need to go on another diet because I'm doing okay. I think by far and away the ketogenic diet wins that. Nevertheless, we're going to pour through these diets and see how far down keto is, okay? Weight Watchers is number 1. Volumetrics is number 2. I don't even know what that is. Jenny Craig is number 3. Come on now, Jenny Craig. I've done Jenny Craig. Jenny Craig is not the number 3 diet by any stretch of the imagination. The vegan diet is number 3. A lot of you guys have been following me for a while know that I actually lost a fair amount of weight on a vegan diet. Now, not just any vegan diet where you're going and buying all the vegan processed foods. Like you can buy vegan sausage and vegan hamburgers and vegan cheese and vegan. Like there's hardly nothing you can't buy a vegan version of now. So if you're eating that kind of vegan diet, you're just screwed altogether. But now if you will eat a whole food plant-based vegan diet, you can have some success. I did. And I liked it. I felt good. I'm never going to bash the vegan diet. The keto diet's better, but I'd never bash the vegan diet. As a matter of fact, if any of these deserve to be in the top 3 or 4, it would be a vegan diet, okay? It works for basically the same reasons a ketogenic diet does. You're not eating a lot of processed sugars. The only sugars you're getting are sugars found in vegetables and maybe fruits or something, which your body tolerates better. So vegan diet's number 3 anyway. The flexitarian diet, which is basically a vegan diet where you eat meat every now and then, was next. The DASH diet, I don't know what that is. The Engine 2 diet, which again is a vegan diet. The Ornish diet, a vegan diet. The Raw Food diet, a vegan diet. And then coming in at number 6 is Slim Fast. Are you kidding me, U.S. News and World Report? The Slim Fast diet is your 6th best weight loss diet. Next time you're in the store, by all means, don't buy any Slim Fast, okay? Please don't buy any Slim Fast. But the next time you're in the store, pick up a thing of Slim Fast and see how many carbs are in it. It's just sugar. You're just drinking chocolate-flavored sugar. Slim Fast diet. The HMR diet, is that the one where you take that pregnancy hormone? Yeah, well, these were dietitians, Beverly. There's a bunch of dietitians that ranked these as the best. Anyway, the Mayo Clinic diet, which isn't horrible, it's not best for weight loss, though. But the Mayo Clinic diet, it adheres to a lot of the old science about diet. Whatever. Put it up there, sure. Coming in the next is Nutrisystem. Are you kidding me? Nutrisystem is the next best diet? Yeah, Jason. Well, he didn't get elected, so it's good. Oh, yeah, it's HCG. Thanks, Teresa. Nutrisystem comes in next. Are you kidding me with Nutrisystem being ranked as the next best diet? I've done Nutrisystem. It's funny because I've done all these. They're garbage. They're junk. They cost way too much money, and they're just horrible. Nutrisystem is horrible. Sure, Jason, a plant-based diet. If you do a plant-based diet and you do a healthy plant-based diet, which means you're eating a lot of greens and a lot of broccoli and a lot of avocado and a lot of cauliflower and things like that, and you're eating very barely any fruit and stuff, sure. Thanks, Dwight. You are correct, sir. Although I agree with what he said, you're correct, Dwight. This is not a political video. I was very happy to see, though, finally coming in after Nutrisystem is the Atkins diet. Now, Atkins is not as good as keto because the fat isn't high. But I'm glad to see it made the list. You know, I'm glad to see that it made the list. Oh, well, going back to the vegan diet, by the way, the vegan diet is hard to sustain. It's hard to eat whole plant-based vegan unless you're at home. And that's what I ran into. I was in hospitals with my mom. We were traveling to Birmingham. We were in hospitals in Dothan. Trying to eat a vegan diet was impossible. So, look, I don't have a problem to say if you can do not a junk food vegan diet, but if you can do a whole food, plant-based vegan diet, sure. It's hard to do, but if you can do it, do it. Sure, there's a lot of sodium in the keto diet. Sodium is good for you. It's a little known fact, Jason. Your heart does not beat without sodium. Sodium is, there's nothing wrong with sodium. As a matter of fact, they just did a worldwide study where they compiled every nutritional-based study into one study called a cohort and found that the average amount of sodium intake for the people who had the least amount of heart attacks is 6 grams a day. And the USDA recommends like, what, 2.5, 2.5 grams? So, yeah. No, you need, I do about 4 or 5 grams a day of sodium, and I'm fine. The Biggest Loser diet came in next. Now, they literally just came out a year ago where they went back to one of the early seasons of Biggest Loser. All those people that gained their weight back, and they did metabolic studies on them and found that they had ruined their metabolism. They had absolutely destroyed their metabolism to the point that this one guy, the man on the show, I think he was the man that won, he had destroyed his metabolism so bad that he can only eat 800 calories a day now. If he eats any more than 800 calories a day, then he gains weight. He destroyed his metabolism. And the Biggest Loser, are you kidding me? The Atkins diet came in again. The Eco Atkins diet, I don't know what that is. That's awesome to see, Beverly. I'm very excited for you. Next is MetaFast. I believe MetaFast is another meal plan where you eat processed garbage that they send to you and zap in the microwave. Come on. Next is the Mediterranean diet, which if it weren't for all the carbs, look, the Mediterranean diet wouldn't be horrible if you left out the pastas and stuff. Okay? So anyway. Next comes vegetarian. Again, I have the same thoughts about that as I do vegan. South Beach, which is very popular. South Beach has, I could be wrong, but I think South Beach has an element of low carb to it, but I'm not sure. Then there's something called the flat belly diet. Let's read more about the flat belly diet. We're almost to keto, by the way. We've scrolled through a ton of harmful, dangerous, and non-working diets. We're finally about to get to keto. They claim you'll lose 15 pounds in 32 days. Monounsaturated fatty acids target belly fat. Well, I mean, there is some truth to that. Plant-based fats. Well, so basically it looks to me like the flat belly diet is a plant version of low carb or keto. So whatever. It's very hard to do that, but if you can do that, it's fine. Anyway, coming in next at 23rd, and it's far further down than 23rd because a lot of them are tied. Well, Jason, I've lost 125 pounds, brother. So keto diet is the way to get it done. I've tried every diet in the world. So the keto diet comes in at number 23. It ranks a 1.6 out of 5 for being healthy. You have to understand that the medical system and the government still thinks that fat is what's causing heart disease. And there's an insane amount of research out now that shows that heart disease is caused by sugar. It's caused by metabolic syndrome, which is the precursor to type 2 diabetes. Keto flu. Keto flu will happen day 2, 3, or 4. If you'll do your electrolytes, you won't really have much keto flu. I had keto flu for 30 minutes and I got on salts and it went away and I never had a problem with it. So I'm going to tell you something. If being scared of feeling down for 2 or 3 days is enough to keep you from losing weight, then you're not that serious about it. Like, people ask me, they're like, oh God, keto flu. Well, first of all, it's not actually a flu. Second of all, you feel tired, run down, you may have some muscle cramping. And third of all, it doesn't, even if you don't treat it, it doesn't last very many days. But if you do treat it, you won't even feel it most of the time. But it's headaches, aches and pains, joints, lethargy, and all that kind of stuff. Look, just eat salt every day and take you a magnesium tablet and take you a little bit of, Cali bone broth will work. It's mainly because of the sodium, but you need a lot of sodium. Nevertheless, it's so frustrating when they still gauge. That's right, Amanda. You tell them, girl. Amanda's my new hero. She is kicking it on the keto diet. So, Jason, I'll talk about a day of eating keto in just a second. I promise you. Hang on just a second. I'll talk about what a day of keto looks like. So, this discovery that high levels of insulin and high levels of sugar are always coursing through your veins is causing all this inflammation. It's causing all these problems in your arteries, and that's the real cause of heart disease and atherosclerosis and all that stuff. All the new science is coming out is proving that. And so we've been fed a lie since the 70s. It's not saturated fat. Saturated fat doesn't cause heart disease. It's not a problem. As a matter of fact, it's satiating. It doesn't lead to type 2 diabetes. It's sure, Angie, I'm going to do that in just a second. So it's preposterous that they continue to look at this research from the 70s from Ansel Keys, who was a shyster, who did like a 21 country study, but only presented like 7 of those countries and called it the 7 country study that supposedly proved that saturated fat caused heart disease. Well, you go back and look at his study now and you see why he left all the other 14, he left the other 14 countries out because they disprove his theory. They show that it's not saturated fat that causes heart disease. Nevertheless, he won the argument in the 70s. The government said quit eating saturated fat. We all quit eating saturated fat and we all got type 2 diabetes and gained 100 pounds. So if you believe that the government's recommendations for diet are correct, I would just ask yourself, why does type 2 diabetes continue to shoot through the roof? Why does obesity and morbid obesity continue to shoot through the roof? Why do we have kids now as young as 7 that have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? Why do we have kids now as young as 7 that have metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes? Why? It's sugar. We're cramming sugar down our throats. We never should be eating this much sugar. Your body, first of all, sugar isn't a food. Processed sugar is a drug. It's not a food. It has no nutritive benefit. The only thing that it has going for it is energy. Just because something has energy does not mean it's a food. You can eat tree bark. It provides energy. You can eat a piece of plastic. A piece of plastic provides you energy. So just because you call something, you don't call something a food just because it provides you energy, which is the only thing sugar does. One thing about sugar, and then I'll talk about day of eating, and then I'll quit for the guys that ask about it. Sugar, think about this. Sugar is processed and made the exact same way cocaine is made. They take a plant, and look, in the native countries where these opioid type plants grow, especially the coca plant and all this stuff where cocaine comes from, and all these different various types, there's several different types of plants. They chew the leaves on them and have been chewing it for centuries. It doesn't cause a problem. It's in very low quantities. It's just very mild. It's not a big deal to chew the leaf of one of these plants. The problem comes in when they extract all of that high concentrated powder out of the plant. And so you've concentrated to like levels times 100 or 1,000, and it's in this little powder, and then you put a little piece on your tongue and it sends you bonkers. Sugar is processed the exact same way. Sugar, if you take a cane, like we have high fructose corn syrup now because our government subsidizes corn crops and farmers can actually sell corn for cheaper than it costs them to make it. How can they sell corn cheaper than it costs them to make it? Because the government subsidizes it and makes up the difference. So we have all this corn. So they put corn in everything. They put corn in every box and bag in your grocery store has corn in it in some shape, form, or fashion, primarily in the form of high fructose corn syrup. I'll digress about that. Before high fructose corn syrup came along, we all got our sugar from cane. It was cane sugar. Well, you can get you a piece of cane. Back when I grew up, we had a guy that used to mill cane down the road from us when I was a little kid. He had a horse, and it had this thing, and it would go around in circles, and he would run this cane through there, or it was a donkey, I think. And this donkey would just walk in circles, pulling this, I guess it was a grinder, cane grinder, and he would squeeze the juice out of this cane, and you'd have cane juice, and he'd make cane syrup and stuff. And I remember my parents would he'd get it, sell it in gallon jugs of cane juice or cane syrup. And it was very lovely. Nevertheless, you can take a piece of cane, and it's very fibrous. It's very fibrous. It's very difficult to eat a piece of cane. It's just so fibrous. And you can chew on it, and you'll get a little sugar out, but it's very difficult. On the other hand, they take this cane and they process it, strip it down, powder it down, and you come out with this crap called sugar, which is like 1,000 times more concentrated than what's in a piece of cane. And bam, a new drug, and we're all addicted to it. We're all addicted to sugar. We're all sugar addicts. That's what bothers me when people talk bad about people who are addicted to heroin or people who are addicted to crack. Most of us are addicted to sugar. You're no better of an addict than anybody else. You just happen to be addicted to something that's socially acceptable. It's acceptable to be addicted, to be a sugar addict. Like, our society accepts it. They're like, oh yeah, it's hilarious. I can't get through the day without 45 Mountain Dews. Well, you're a freaking addict. You're addicted to a substance that's killing you. Just like cocaine is killing people, just like crack is killing people and heroin is killing people and doesn't kill them instantly. It kills them over time. Sugar is killing us over time. It's screwing up our adrenals. It's messing up your metabolism. It's ruining your liver. It's causing you to be insulin resistant. It's causing metabolic syndrome, and it's leading to type 2 diabetes, and it's leading to people having their feet cut off and limbs amputated and just dying early of heart disease, because the number one cause of death from people who are diabetic is heart disease, because all the damage is just your arteries. We're all addicts. That was one of the first things that was good for me to admit was I was an addict. I was no better than a cocaine addict. I was no better than a heroin addict. No worse, by the way, either. No better or worse than any kind of addict, any kind of drug. So you got to get off the sugar. It's a drug. So I'll digress about that, okay? So what's a day look like, right? So you're basically eating whole foods, but you're eating foods that don't have a lot of sugar in them. So, you know, if you started out and you were 15 or 16 and you hadn't ruined your metabolism, you could probably eat a little fruit and it'd be fine. By the time you get in your 20s, late 20s, mid 30s, mid 40s, you've ruined your metabolism. Your body can no longer handle sugar. Your insulin response is overwhelming, and so you have to let fruit go. So fruit is no longer a part of your diet. Now, after you've been keto for a while and you've lost some weight and you've improved your insulin sensitivity, you can work in a few berries, a few blueberries, or a few strawberries, or a few raspberries or something, but fruit is mainly going to be off your list. So what are you eating? So I'd say a standard day for eating for a keto person would be have some bacon and eggs for breakfast. You want to cook it in some grass-fed butter. Cook your eggs in some grass-fed butter so you up the fat a little bit. That's breakfast. Lunch, what do you want for lunch? What kind of meat you want? You want a piece of steak? You want a hamburger patty or something? You can have a hamburger without the bun. So you have a hamburger. You know, mayonnaise isn't the healthiest thing in the world because they use soy oil in it. But if you buy mayonnaise that's made from a different kind of oil, it's pretty healthy. It has some pretty healthy fats in it. But, you know, let's assume that. You go with some mayonnaise, some mustard, put a little lettuce on there, maybe a little thin slice of a tomato you can put on there. a few pieces of onion. You have your open-faced burger. It doesn't have any harmful carbohydrates. And perhaps you eat pork skins with it. Perhaps you eat a pickle with it. Perhaps you have some kind of a slaw with it or something that doesn't have added sugar. So various sides. That could be your lunch, or your lunch could be a salad packed with meat. The Cobb salad is fabulous. So Cobb salad is basically, lettuce. It's a good old iceberg lettuce. Nothing fancy about it. You add a little chipped up ham in there. You add a little bit of cheese. You add some boiled egg in there. And then you add a fatty salad dressing. So that could be blue cheese salad dressing. It could be the right kind of ranch. There are some high-fat, low-carb ranch dressings out there, but there are some that have a lot of sugar in them, so you got to read the label. But a good high-fat ranch that doesn't have a lot of carbs. The blue cheese is good. There's some good Caesars out there, some good Caesars. Or just go the simple route. A little olive oil and vinegar. That's it. Pour a little olive oil and vinegar. I actually had that about 4 or 5 days ago when I was down in Florida. I had a great salad. A little olive oil and vinegar on it. It was delicious. That could be your lunch. Dinner, have us a piece of steak. Get you a fatty piece of steak. Get a ribeye or, some strip steak or whatever. Have a steak, and you want to have a couple cups of vegetables. So non-starch vegetables, that's stuff that don't grow in the ground. So it's not carrots, it's not potatoes, it's not beets. It's going to be stuff like greens. It's going to be stuff like cauliflower, asparagus, broccoli, things like that. Calories don't matter, Jason. If you eat high fat, you won't overeat on calories. That's the beautiful thing about it. I'm never hungry anymore. Amanda, who's checked in earlier, who I've been working with, getting her started on a ketogenic diet, she was 4 days in. She stopped being hungry. She's like, I noticed I wasn't hungry yesterday. I noticed I wasn't hungry at lunch. It doesn't matter how many calories is in something. It matters how much of something you eat. So you'll eat carbohydrate stuff all day. How many bags of chips can you eat in a day? You can shovel them down your throat all day long, and you never stop eating them. It's the combination of the fat and the salt and the way they make them. You're just cramming it down your throat all day. On the other hand, tell me how many sticks of butter you can eat. Grab you a stick of butter and eat it and tell me how much of it you can eat. It's 100% fat, by the way. 100% fat. 17 hours. Absolutely, Beverly. I do 16 to 18 hour fast every day, and many days I do 23 hours. I only eat one time a day because I'm just never hungry, so I have one meal a day. Absolutely. It's one of the biggest benefits. So you're never hungry. Fat is satiating. Fat is what the good Lord gave us to make us satiated. Amanda fasted from yesterday at 5 p.m. going for 24 hours. Not hungry yet. It's crazy. Yes! And Amanda's only been keto for, what is this, day 11. This is 11 days for Amanda. She's keto. She's already not hungry. She's going 23 hours without eating anything because she just hasn't been hungry. So it doesn't matter how many calories is in olive oil. It doesn't matter how many calories is in something. It matters how much of it you eat. It matters how hungry you are. So I'll leave you with this. When people ask me, will a keto diet work for me? Will a keto diet work for me? I ask just one question. If you were never hungry, could you lose weight? It's a simple question. If you were never hungry, could you lose weight? I think we would all agree the answer to that question is yes. So what diet produces the sense of not ever being hungry? What diet gets easier as you go? All diets are hard in the beginning. I don't care what diet you pick, it's hard in the beginning. It's hard to restrict something, no matter what you're restricting, whether it be calories or a certain food group or a certain macronutrient group. It doesn't matter what you're restricting, it's going to be hard. But all the other diets get harder the longer you go. Calorie restriction, the most popular form of diet, the longer you calorie restrict, the more your body's going to fight back. Your body's going to be like, screw this, man. We need calories. And you will get to the point you will shut down. You will have a freaking meltdown on the side of the road, and you'll be stuffing Cheetos in your face. And you'll have Papa John's bringing you a pizza to the side of the road while you shove it down and chase it with a 2-liter bottle of Coke. That's what always happens. On the other hand, a ketogenic diet only gets easier. The further you go, the less your body craves crap. You don't crave Twinkies and Ho-Hos and Coca-Colas and chocolate cake and all that. You don't crave that anymore. All those cravings go away. All this need to eat all the time goes away. Yes, Beverly, everybody fails on everything they try because it gets harder. It just gets harder. Brenda, you can PM me. You'll have to understand that I can't PM everybody that wants me to PM them. If you want to discuss something with me, please send me a private message and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. So, look, a diet that gets easier the longer you go is a diet you can be successful at. A diet that reverses, and you most likely, if you're overweight, have metabolic syndrome, if not type 2 diabetes. A diet that reverses that is a diet that you're going to be successful on. A diet that makes insulin work right again so that your body can upregulate glucose again and process it correctly and burn stored fat on your body correctly is a diet that you're going to be successful at long term. So, Lori, I started past Sunday, 4 days, and you've lost 2 pounds. Absolutely. Weight loss initially is very quick. Your body is storing a lot of water that it doesn't need when you don't have carbs. It's storing a lot of other things it doesn't need. You really generally lose a lot of weight quickly, which really gets you boosted and ready to go. And then the fat loss really kicks in, probably a week or two into it. Anyway, I want to appreciate you guys watching today. The ketogenic diet is not the worst diet on the planet. It blows my mind that Nutrisystem and Jeannie Craig and Weight Watchers ranked higher than keto. Because if you've had success with those, I'm not knocking you, but they're very difficult to do and they allow you to eat anything. You can literally eat garbage and junk and crap all the time, especially Weight Watchers, which now they've got a new commercial out. I saw Oprah doing it. It's called Weight Watchers Totally Free or something. You're welcome, Beverly. I'm so happy that you're having success and feeling good. It's called Freedom or something. And so I see Oprah on there talking about there's 200 foods you can eat that have no points now. And in the background, you see all these people in the background shoving chocolate cake down their throat. And I'm like, whatever. Get out of here with that crap. If these people do lose weight, they're not going to lose it for long. It'll be over with and they're going to be fat again. They're going to gain more than they had when they started. And I feel bad for them. And so look, real food, it boils down to real food. I find it laughable when people say how dangerous a ketogenic diet is. A ketogenic diet, boiled down to its very essence, is just eating the food that God invented. God didn't invent this crap in boxes on the store shelves. He didn't invent that. Some mad scientist invented it somewhere, and they produce it in a factory somewhere using all these machines and stuff that you wouldn't believe if you saw them. That's not real food. God didn't invent that. God ain't invented none of that. None of that came from nature. So you eat Franken food, you're going to be fat. It's just that simple. I don't understand why people make it complicated. It amuses me that people will, and I really need to end, but it amuses me that people put all their faith in the Bible and all their faith in God, but when it comes to weight loss, they won't put their faith in the food that He created. Greens and broccoli and asparagus and beef and some good grass-fed beef, not some crappy fed beef that they fed full of some kind of carbohydrate mixture. So it just boils down to real food. How anybody could label a ketogenic diet as being unsafe is just beyond me. I mean, you're just eating real food. So nevertheless, Beverly, thanks for your comments and everybody that checked in today. And yeah, so when you run into somebody, if you're trying keto or thinking about it, and somebody goes, I just saw in U.S. News and World Report, that's the 42nd worst diet. Just laugh at them and grab you something keto and stick it in your mouth and eat it and enjoy it, okay? All right, guys, I'm out of here. I appreciate you watching today. It felt good to be back in the studio again. I'm not green screening it out. Sometimes I like to put the pretty pictures behind me, but you just get stuck with the green screen today. Sorry about that. So, nevertheless, you guys have a great day. Keto on.